Fascinating people come from all walks of life. They can be hanging around on your corner or working in a factory halfway across the globe. Children can also be very unique and from all walks of life with incredible abilities or bizarre physical conditions. From a real Snow White to brothers who become paralyzed when the sun goes down. Check out these 10 incredible kids. Shin Hyo-myung, the Peter Pan of Korea. Ever meet a real Peter Pan? A 31-year-old by the name of Shin Hyo-myung has been designated the Peter Pan of Korea. Why, do you ask? Just like the famous J.M. Barrie character, Shin is a boy who refuses to grow up. Well, not exactly. Shin suffers from a very rare condition called Highlander syndrome. The syndrome causes his body to age at a very slow rate and appears to be a genetic defect, so much so that Shin has not even suffered the travails of puberty yet. At 31 years of age and standing at 5 feet 4 inches tall, Shin had a perfectly normal growth rate until he hit middle school. It was at that time Shin's aging appeared to stop dead in its tracks. With his hairless skin, chubby cheeks, baby fat torso, and prepubescent voice, Shin maintains the embodiment in both looks and behavior of a 12-year-old boy. Except that he is 31 years young. Despite Shin's stunted growth, doctors say Shin is in perfectly good health and there is no reason to believe he couldn't remain young for a long time to come. Narayana, Siberian Snow White. As the evil queen of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs uttered, "Magic mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all?" That title would have to be given to the Snow White of Siberia, 8-year-old Narayana of the Sakha Republic, with bright porcelain skin and glowing whitish blonde hair. This little girl seems destined to walk the runways of Paris and New York as an IMG fashion model someday. But hold on, not so fast. Narayana has received dozens of offers from modeling agencies around the world, but her mother, Elena, would prefer her striking daughter enjoy the fruits of childhood first. Two of Narayana's favorite pastimes are drawing and dancing. When prompted, Narayana is quick to say she'd like nothing more than to become a model when she grows up. A local photographer, Vadim Rufov, is not surprised in the least that modeling would be Narayana's calling, having been astounded with the patience and artistry Narayana already displays at such a tender age, posing for stretches of 2 hours or even longer at a time. Sophie Green. Have you ever tried to write, paint, or cook using just your feet? It's quite the challenge. Now imagine living your entire life that way. This is the story of 7-year-old Sophie Green of Harriman, Utah. Sophie has not only met every challenge thrown her way, but has excelled and thrived where most adults would have thrown in the towel. Initially in China to adopt her older sister Lexi, who is blind, Sophie's parents Christiane and Jeremy fell in love with Sophie's beautiful big eyes and ironclad will and decided to adopt both children. With some adjustments around the house, like changing doorknobs to handles so Sophie is able to more easily open the doors with her chin, Sophie and her family have been able to adjust quite nicely. But Sophie's issues are not just physical, like being unable to balance herself without arms. There are emotional challenges as well, like name-calling and uncomfortable questions. However, it's her own unique and compelling way that she is able to ride a bike or paint her nails or dance, a passion of Sophie's, that gives her the confidence to keep excelling. Tessa Evans. Tessa Evans of County Londonderry, Ireland, was born with an extremely rare condition called congenital arynia. Tessa, now 5 years old, was born without any nasal passage or sinus cavities. This condition is so rare it only affects 1 in 197 million births. Her mother, Grania, discovered her daughter's condition during the 20th week of pregnancy. Tessa is smaller than other girls her age, has a bump where her nose would be, and a tracheotomy tube in her neck. Having no sense of smell comes with dangers that we with noses take for granted, namely the smell of danger or the smell of burning or rotten food. However, there is hope for little Tessa, and she has undergone her first operation in a new procedure which uses a 3D printer to build an implant to fit under her skin. A medical tattoo artist will tattoo on the nostrils and nose contours. The surgery will be repeated every 2 years and won't be completed until Tessa is a teenager. In the meantime, she acts like a typical little girl. Normalcy is key, for the warrior princess had had 7 general anesthetics in the last 2 years, besides the 7 in her first 2 years. A warrior indeed. In a very special interview post on Instagram, Tessa wanted the world to know that she is beautiful with or without the nose. We agree completely. Jiang Hongyan, China's basketball girl. Yunnan Province, Southwest China. A 4-year-old girl is involved in a near-fatal accident, losing both of her legs. Growing up in an impoverished rural area, the little girl's family had no access to adequate health care nor prosthetic legs. Her parents had to be ingenuitive, and they were. The girl's name is Chan Hongyang. Her temporary prosthetic? A basketball. Cut in half, placed and fastened to her lower torso to steady herself. Chan learned to walk on her hands by supporting her entire upper body using wooden pads and handles. The locals dubbed her the Basketball Girl. Her story caught the attention of the Chinese media, and soon, with the support from donations, she was given the chance to travel 1,600 miles to Beijing to receive free artificial limbs. At age 11, she had to stop attending school, for her family simply could not afford to send her. Chan was not deterred. She had joined a local swimming club for the disabled. She had to swim much harder than the others, finding herself unable to float and nearly drowning. But Chan was determined. She muscled through her struggles, ultimately becoming a successful champion swimmer. She trains 4 hours a day and has won many national gold medals, with one goal in mind: to win Olympic medal for her country in the Paralympic Games. When she turned 18, she received her first adult prosthetic legs. She has created a future for herself despite her disabilities and continues to inspire thousands of people throughout China. Ryusei Imai, Mini Bruce Lee. What were you doing at 4 years old? Ryusei Imai from Nara City, Japan was swinging kid-sized nunchucks in time with his on-screen idol, Bruce Lee. Dubbed the Mini Bruce Lee, Ryusei keeps a grueling training regimen, which includes push-ups with only his thumbs, one-handed press-ups, walking on his fists, pull-ups, and forward flips, all to achieve the mastery and speed of his idol. It has taken Ryusei years of watching Lee's films to get the timing just right. Ryusei's grandfather was a karate fighter, and it seems that the passion of the ancient art form was passed down to him. Ryusei's father, Ryuji, has stated that they would always play music and movies together. But when he and his wife witnessed their 4-year-old swinging the nunchucks with a prodigy-like talent, that was the game changer. Ryusei then began his intense training. Ryusei's daily routine begins at 6 a.m. with an hour and a half of training. When he comes home, he runs for an hour, then spends another 2 hours working on his kicks and nunchaku routines. 4.5 hours every day. Wow! With over 290,000 followers on Facebook, 33,000 followers on Instagram, tens of millions of views on YouTube, and television appearances on both Super Kids and Little Big Shots, Hollywood seems the likely next step for this impressive mini Bruce Lee. Jean-Chris Carl Quirante. The Tooth Fairy has a new friend. He is a 9-year-old boy from the Philippines by the name of Jean-Chris Carl Quirante, who has an astounding 300 teeth. When Jean-Chris was a baby, his parents had no idea he would be suffering from a rare condition known as hyperdontia, which affects 1 to 4% of the world's population, and researchers are unsure why it happens. Not being able to afford a dentist until Jean-Chris was 5 years old, the number of teeth in his mouth ballooned to 150. His condition only worsened over the next 4 years, crowding his mouth with over 300 teeth. Having had his first successful surgery to extract 40 teeth, Jean-Chris has a bit of a hill to climb, needing an additional 7 operations before his mouth is fully functional. Learning how to speak was initially difficult for Jean-Chris, but his teacher says he is excelling in school and his education level is no different than any other average 4th grader. Muin Bakonev. For many people all over the world, the idea of long eyelashes is enviable and a sign of great beauty. But what if your eyelashes are the longest on record and almost 2 inches long? This is the fascinating characteristic of an 11-year-old boy by the name of Muin Bakonev. Muin's father says his son's eyelashes could reach his lip when he was an infant. Muin got a lot of attention, and he is okay with that. So are his parents. Visits to several doctors have concluded that the long eyelashes pose no threat to Muin's health, and it appears that the defective gene connected with the eyelashes just reacted differently in Muin's case. Although his lashes are registered in the Russian Book of Records as the longest in his country, Muin is quite comfortable with them and has loftier ambitions in mind. Muin loves football and dreams of becoming a famous football star when he grows up. Shoaib Ahmed Abdul Rashid, Solar Boys. 13-year-old Shoaib Ahmed and his 9-year-old brother Abdul Rashid of Pakistan carry on and play with their friends during the day like many normal children. However, when the sun goes down, something completely unimaginable happens. They both become paralyzed, unable to move or speak until the sun rises again. They have been nicknamed the Solar Boys and are living under observation in a hospital in Islamabad, Pakistan. The boys may be suffering from a disease called Masthenia syndrome, which is a rare illness with only 600 cases reported all over the world so far. Sunlight has been ruled out as the cause for this disease, as the boys were able to move about in a darkened room during the day when the sun is out, and they don't seem to be suffering from sleep paralysis either. Their unique condition seems more likely tied to genetics, as the boy's mother and father are first cousins, a practice not uncommon in Pakistan. More recently, the brothers have acquired some mobility at night thanks to neurotransmission treatment. Now the hope is that the boy's DNA analysis will give the doctors more information on the disease and how to fight it. Jaliyah Manuel. Jaliyah Manuel is an 8-year-old basketball phenomenon from New Orleans, Louisiana, USA, and is so obsessed with being the best she can be that she sleeps with her basketball. She begs her dad to practice every single day, but Jaliyah understands that practice doesn't happen unless she continues to excel in school. And Jaliyah has done just that, scoring straight A's. Basketball is a privilege in her household, and Jaliyah has been taught she has to earn the right to play the game she loves. Jaliyah even creates her own drills with her dad, and professional trainers have even begun using her drills. She is a dribble master and can dribble multiple basketballs blindfolded. She takes her ball to the bathroom, to the movies. She even feeds her basketball. Jaliyah has been on the Steve Harvey Show, SportsCenter, and has met LeBron James and plans to co-host her own basketball clinic. Currently, she has 133,000 followers on Instagram. But when it comes right down to it, all Jaliyah wants to do is practice. It's what separates the mediocre players from the legends. And Jaliyah is quickly becoming a legend. We hope you enjoyed this video, and we hope you were inspired by these incredible kids. If you liked the video, then make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Help us reach 2 million subscribers, and we'll keep putting out these awesome videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.